and ultimately see your ideas being implemented. That was this man above me here, that was beside me probably, TED Talk, that I came across just recently. And at the end of that TED Talk, he asked a question, which was, is your community future ready? And what can you do to get your community future ready? So when he did that, I thought, I've got to reach out to this guy. I've got to speak to him. So we did a quick LinkedIn search, shot him a message, and he's been very gracious to come on. And I hope I'll get your last name right. I meant to ask you how to pronounce this before we come on. But Younis, is it Hijazi?
Just the first name is enough, Younis. We don't need the last name. It's too complicated.
That's good, because I'm only Aussie, mate. So how are you, mate?
Nice seeing you again, Adam.
Tell us a little bit about that background in the back, because where we live from tonight, mate? You're in Luxembourg, yes?
Yes. So this is a beautiful picture of Luxembourg. So it's not a live picture, like it doesn't match the season right now. It's a bit more gray at the moment, but I really love this picture because it shows really like Luxembourg is in 3D. It's a very beautiful. This is Luxembourg City. And it's a very beautiful city and country, and you can see the old town in the bottom, and the new town, the business center at the top, where you have all the EU institutions, Big Four, banks. So it's and it's really, it blends well, both the old and the new town. So it's a beautiful picture that I like to put out there when to promote Luxembourg.
Probably a little bit cooler there than it is here at the moment. Oh, I'm sweating like mad here tonight.
Yes, at the moment here it's I haven't been outside today, but it's 11 degrees Celsius at the moment, and we expect it's very likely to snow on Sunday. So it's gonna be temperatures are getting down now, so we're gonna expect snow for right after Christmas. So for the Christmas weekend.
Nice. Very different to what we got here. We're down the beach and getting sunburnt. Mate, give us a little bit of background on yourself. How did this all come about? How did you get started with the, number one, with the exponential organisations, I suppose, and number two, with what you're looking at on transforming this into communities as well?
Yeah, so maybe the background to the TEDx talk. I'm sure we will share also different links in the chat. So the TEDx talk, it has been recently uploaded on the TED platform and tagged with the keyword government. So you can also more easily find it when you're interested in this topic. The whole TEDx talk is based on Salim Ismail's framework called exponential organizations, and he has created now a community, OpenEXO, of 7,000 freelancers who are disruptors, consultants, coaches. So we have all kinds of advisors, all kinds of roles. And we are applying our own methodology, our own framework to ourselves, because this is staff on demand. So we are trying to disrupt the pure classical consulting model by moving to a coaching model with staff on demand. So now we have this platform of 7,000 people. So when I work with a multinational, or if I work now with a government, I can put up a team just like that. We have a marketplace, and I just request certain profiles, and I just put up the team of experts on the fly. So it's very agile. So the book, I came a few years ago, I came across this book, Exponential Organizations. I was already in the mindset of exponential technologies with Singularity University, where I did a training in 2017. And I was really excited when I read the book of Salim, because it was, okay, this is like, what do you do next once you understand the exponential technologies, or some people call it key enabling technologies or deep tech, but this is all the same thing: artificial intelligence, blockchain, virtual reality, digital biology, all these fast evolving technologies that have the potential to disrupt industries and that have the potential for market creating innovation. So all these things are really, it's good to understand the technologies, but I was more interested in the transformation it has on organizations, and how as an organization can you use that. So basically the exponential technologies, the exponential organizations are a way to leverage exponential technologies, this abundance created by exponential technologies, to become more agile and to have a 10x impact, as we say. So really to perform 10 times better than the peers. And for government, it's not about making 10 times more revenue. It's about being 10 times more efficient and have a better line to the citizens and mostly becoming more agile. So when I talk about future-ready government, it's about how to use all these external threats, external changes, and really not control them, but have a certain structure or governance that can really that can really like adapt, evolve together with these fast evolving technologies. So that was the first thing, exponential organizations, this book. And what I'm trying to do now is to create a community around this concept of EXO, exponential organization, for governments. But most importantly, so what I realized after doing the talk and after talking with a few people is that some people lack trust in their government and they're interested in the ideas, but they're not going to go and just be willing to collaborate right on with the government. So it depends, each situation is different. So we have some countries like Luxembourg. I think trust is here. It's a very stable government. It's a small country, less than 1 million people, including the commuters. So it's easy to manage compared to larger countries, of course. So each country is different with its with its setting, the size, with the culture, and also like the resilience. The crisis has shown which countries are super resilient, less resilient, and not resilient at all. So I think it was a good benchmark with the COVID situation. And yeah, so I think the first thing is trust. So I was talking about trust. Do the citizens have trust in their government? Do they want to co-create with the government, or does trust need to be rebuilt or built? And then if really there is no way to collaborate with the government, so citizens who want to change, super citizens who want to do something about their region, then it might be just that they start as an independent initiative using the EXO attributes, and then we can see what can happen and maybe merge that with some initiatives from the government. But there is no one size fits all, definitely.
Yeah. Just to put a little bit of context around this exponential organization for it, can you talk us through an example? I'd say probably Uber or Airbnb are the two, popular names that pretty much everyone knows, no matter where you go in the world. Just give us a little bit of an example of how those fit into the exponential organization, what they're actually doing.
Yeah, so those two Uber and Airbnb are examples of EXOs, of exponential organizations. They score high in the exponential quotient score that we built. It's a score between 0 and 100. I don't know the exact score now, but it scores high. The idea is that, so for example, Uber really leverages staff on demand. So they don't need to, that's one of the attributes of so you have 11 attributes in the EXO framework. So we have an EXO canvas, similar to the business model canvas. So you have the MTP, the massive transformative purpose, which is the hat, which is like what I call also in the TEDx, the North Star, which gives you the direction and which helps you wake up every morning, gives you the purpose. So that's really important. So that's a must to have an exponential organization. And then you have 5 external attributes and 5 internal attributes. This is the definition of an EXO, an exponential organization. And in the 5 external attributes, you have 2 which are now linked to Uber and Airbnb. One is staff on demand. So if you want to scale the organization, and we give very often the examples of companies, but you can apply it to the public sector. Not having employees is much easier to scale. So if you have a down period now what's happening with COVID, you can you just have you activate fewer resources, and if you have high demand, you just like a cloud computing the same way. You would just activate more freelancers in your community, and so that's what Uber does. They leverage staff on demand, and they're well known for that. And Airbnb leverages another asset, which is leveraged assets. And so this is the way of not owning stuff, but basically you can have intermediaries, which are the owners of the property, and you just create a platform model. And that's what they did. They are the largest hotel firm in the world without owning a single room. And so those are two of the 5 external attributes, and there are more than in the methodology that we can analyze later.
Yeah. Okay. So you just said two phrases in there, which is massive transformative purpose and what in your TED talk you actually call a North Star. I believe you got do you want to take us through that exercise at the moment, mate? Because this is the crux of it, isn't it? I mean, to get people to buy into your idea to change whatever you want to change, you got to have that. They found with all of these EXOs that they all had that massive transformative purpose that got people's buy-in initially, isn't it? That's where it all starts.
Yeah, the MTP, the massive transformative purpose, is really the starting point. We very often we start with this exercise to create an MTP for it can be for a person. So my personal massive transformative purpose is to transform governments and make them future ready. Yep. So this is and that means really all over the world. So create a movement, a community, and I really want to initiate that. And the way that you communicate on your massive transformative purpose, it attracts people that relate to what you want to do. And that's how we connected, basically, because I was clear in the communication what I want to achieve. And I also wanted to challenge people, not just to push information, but also to ask, okay, have you thought about your region? Like, do you think you're in a region, in a city, in a country that is agile, that can adapt, that is resilient, agile, future ready, however you want to call it? And that's how we connected. It's thanks to the MTP. So do you want to zoom in a little bit in the with like a few? I have some content on the MTP.
Yeah. Throw that presentation up and step us through the. Just give people some ideas on how they get started doing an MTP. One I come up with the Gladstone region that I'm working on at the moment is that there was always a saying that my dad had when we were apprentices. Okay. And it was always, you're not using what you got properly yet. Whenever we went to him and asked for him for resources and that sort of stuff, he'd always say the same thing. You've got resources, you're not using them properly. So that's always been the basis for me of what I'm looking at with the program that I'm doing. So, yeah, to me, that's one that the Gladstone region could look at, was be the most resourceful community on the planet.
So you have already drafted a massive transformative purpose?
Yeah. Well, I've put it there, like you're going to show us some examples in a minute. I've basically just pushed that out there as an example. But I mean, the crux of it is as well, isn't it? It's about people taking it and improving with it. I mean, maybe someone comes up with something better than that anyway.
Yeah. So the way to it's really good to start. I think it's really great to start with a draft like that you put out there, and it starts the discussion. And because you've already given it some thought, and but it's really it's a very it's a living exercise. So you do it in a session with you can have 5 people, 10 people, and there are different formats for doing it. But it's really good to have also I can provide also some content, support content, so that you can break it down. You have different also ways of challenging your MTP. Is it really an MTP? So then you have templates for that. So here, for example, we did this. Salim and the Open EXO community organized this event called the Decade of the EXO, because we believe now that 2020 is the start of a new era, and we are moving from a world of. Actually, I will maybe just go back a little bit to the. So this is just to show here the exponential curve. If you zoom out, you can see that things were very, very slow, and then there was an inflection point. And since then, the innovations are just crazy. And today we have an acceleration of the acceleration with the converging exponential technologies. So it's all happening at the same time. All these Gutenberg moments that we have at the same time.
That was one of the pivotal ones, wasn't it? The Gutenberg, the printing press was actually the pivotal start of that ramp up, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And you have different. Now today we have many at the same time. We have tons of Gutenberg moments at the same time. So it's difficult for us humans, who are our brain is wired linearly. We are not exponential thinking is not natural for us because our brains are wired to think linearly. And so it's very very unintuitive when you have this. If you in my community recently, I saw many people sharing, like they zoomed out and they looked at Bitcoin and they looked at Tesla and all this exponential organizations, and you can see the exponential. So I should do it like that. The exponential curve. You really see the exponential curve when you zoom out enough, and that's what they did here, just to show that the evolution was very slow, was linear and deceptive. And then once you have this inflection point, you're on the track to exponential. And then if you're not ready when it explodes, when at this inflection point, you're not going to get ready. You need to be ready before this happens. And this is now, I can show you now also with like if you look at there is the I have the background, so it's maybe not but the Oculus Quest is a device you can buy for just a few hundred euros on Amazon, and this is now really reaching enough maturity to not be a gadget anymore, but to have implications for many businesses. And so if you look at the example of cars versus horses, so in 1900, it's very difficult to spot the car. It was mostly horses, and just a decade later, 13 years later, same spot, you see only cars. There was an explosion of automobile. It was then it becomes difficult to spot the horse, and that happened in over around a decade. So the transformation can be very fast, and that's what we are having at the moment with many converging technologies, exponential technologies at the same time. And this is the curve. There are this framework. The very interesting framework I recommend is the 6 Ds of Peter Diamandis, which is simplified here, but it starts with digitization and it goes to the democratization once the technologies are cheap, sometimes very often free, and available to a large group of people. And that's what you can have impact. And here, if you imagine that now many more billions of people, thanks to the low orbit satellites for access to internet, will have access to this digital world. Imagine all this diversity now coming in, because we have billions of people that are not connected yet to the internet that will join us. And so this is
sorry. Just when people are thinking about that transfer from horse to cars, think of that now in modern day terms, that's cars running on the left-hand side there, and you've got autonomous vehicles in the right. If that went from that to that, from a horse to an actual car in that 13 years, imagine what you're going to see with autonomous vehicles in the next few years. Just that's the difference. When you keep saying about exponential, that's how quickly this stuff's happening. Yeah,
people were laughing at Google when they were experimenting, but now all the manufacturers are working on electric and autonomous, and also you have not only terrestrial, but you have now more and more inventions that might become real innovations. But you have inventions today with cars that transform into a plane, with all those drone-like, like Uber is experimenting with that, with the drones. You have also, like recently, one company, a French company, Sea Bubbles. It's they have developed an innovative way of navigating on the water, but with very small few frictions. So they just go up, and then you have no waves, and they can move fast with no friction, and so it's comfortable. Also, I tried it when I was in Brussels. I tried it. one of the companies I was involved with. And so you have all these innovations on the ground with autonomous vehicles, in the air, on the water, and all this can be blended in a mobility as a service package, where you don't need to, when your Tesla will soon be able to just generate a revenue and go and pick up people and become a robo taxi, and your car becomes an asset. Like usually a car is considered as, when you have a car, as soon as you buy a car, you lose money. But in this case, it's turning things. And that's why the shares of Tesla are also going very, very high, very rapidly. Because people start understanding that it was deceptive for a long time, but now it's at the tipping point. And if you look at, so this is the first book in 2014, The Exponential Organizations, which is basically giving the 11 ingredients, the MTP, and each of these 10 attributes, detailing them. So this is explains the ingredients of how to become exponential. And then you have the Exponential Transformation book, which is more recent, from 2019, and which is the cookbook. Really, it gives the recipe. How do you put that together if you want to transform the DNA of your organization? So how do you use those attributes, and what do you do with them? How do you create your MTP and things like that? So, and that's the, maybe before I jump into the MTP, that's the whole framework. This is what I was referring to before with the staff on demand, and was also, so when I was giving the example of Uber, and leverage assets, the example was Airbnb. You can see, so for example, community and crowd. So this is it's very often combined with engagement. So how do you create a community, and how do you keep them engaged? Yep. So those are two very important things. So if you create, in the sense now in the context of a city or a region or a country, yeah, these are the questions that the first thing is to understand what is interesting for people in a certain region. It might not be, maybe some things that are interesting for your region will not be appealing for the region where I live here in Luxembourg. So this is an exercise that has to be done locally with a small group of people who understand the needs, who understand the not only the needs, but also like what triggers people, what motivates them, what excites them. And algorithms, I'm not going to spend too much time, because this is directly linked to how do you convert, once you have these exponential technologies like artificial intelligence and all that, what you do with it with your organization. So you need to have some data that you measure, something that you do with it, and that's done with algorithms. So it could be AI, it could be blockchain, could be a mix of that, could be many things. But algorithms are at the core of an exponential organization. So I talked about the rest, and then you have all those things you have to do also internally, because if you have a large organization, public sector or private sector, you need to have certain ways, like a common language. So what I talked about in the TEDx was to have a digital infrastructure, instead of talking just about interfaces, more like a digital infrastructure, which is interoperable and helps you take all the data, all the incoming requests, and dashboards are very important to measure what is happening. So you need to agree what you want to measure. So for example, with COVID, many governments started using very simple visualizations so that citizens could understand them. So you would go on the page of the city or the country, and you have these visualizations. And Google is very good at doing just you type a keyword and you can see the curve, you can see visual information. So all these dashboards are very important, because we have so much text information and video and all that. It's good to have a compact representation that is meaningful. So it's also an important exercise to sit and decide what is important to measure. Then you measure it. If you don't have it, you find a way to measure it, and then you can visualize it in real time evolving. Experimentation is very important, because you cannot just come top down and assume So that's the old way of doing things, just making your master plan over 1 year, 2 years of development, and then to realize that you fail. So this is simply now replaced with agile, the agile approach. So that's it.
Yep.
And you have to constantly loop and measure and adapt. Autonomy is extremely important in large structures, and at the moment, people in the public sector lack really. It's very critical. They lack autonomy. So if you are at the bottom, you have all these layers. You have maybe 10 layers up to the head of state, or maybe sometimes 20, and it discourages even the most motivated people who come in this infrastructure and want to make a change. Then the immune system of the organization just kills all your motivation and just keeps you down. So people very often just accept and resign. I mean, in the sense that they do what they can do, but without pushing too much. And social technologies, this is interesting because you can see how some organizations are trying also to connect with their clients, or some governments have tried to reach out to the citizens. But here I think it's very important to understand, okay, what before you launch a new product, a new service, a new kind of WhatsApp or something like that, why not simply use something that people already use? For example, if people use WhatsApp or Telegram or Signal or Messenger, just use what people use. I think it's the best way to start the discussion, not spend too much time on the tool, but spend time on the interaction. Yep. So this is the framework. Those are the 11 attributes. And here, I'm not gonna go here because this is how to put it in motion if you want to transform an organization. And yeah, that was an exercise we did with regions or countries. So this is just giving some elements of what is an MTP. So it's built around the purpose. So the question is, what do you want to achieve with that? It's something that is at a large scale. It's called massive transformative purpose. So it's usually at a very large scale. How is a new abundance created, or an existing abundance drawn upon? So it's really connected to the new model of abundance, not scarcity. So what are you trying to leverage? What type of abundance? Instagram, when they were created, it was the abundance of, so the exponential technology is the mobile phone with very high res cameras and also for video camera. And this enabled an abundance of photos and videos that we didn't know what to do with. I mean, you had that on your device, and the way that they provided this platform to connect, to reach out to people, create communities with just this simple tagging system, that disrupted the classical industry, like Kodak, for example, that went bankrupt, and at the same time, Instagram. So Kodak was the scarcity old model, and Instagram was then acquired by Facebook, but because they detected the importance of such a transformative way of doing things. And at the beginning, people did not take Instagram seriously when it was, they were like, yeah, it's just a stupid app doing pictures and videos sharing. But they didn't realize, and when you see today, if you look back and you see today the impact of Instagram and people who are living from Insta and all the things you can do, and that there is no question anymore about the importance of such apps. But it's much more than an app. And so the transformative part is, so what are you really doing, which changes the state? And is it something that is inspiring? It has also to be succinct, short and simple, so that people remember it. Something positive, inclusive. It should also relate to passion, inspire people. So it's all those things in just a very short sentence or like statement. Yeah. So it's not easy. Here you can see some. This is an extract of the book. You can see, for example, Nike bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. You have Starbucks inspire and nurture the human spirit. You have I really love Waze's one, outsmarting traffic together. It's very short, but it has all the keywords, because the together it couldn't be possible if people were not contributing to the system. And Waze is an exponential organization, and they leverage again the mobile phones, which are an exponential technology, which with Moore's law evolve. So every year or so, you can see that they double in performance, like every 18 months. So yeah, Singularity University, that's what actually brought me into the community of exponential thinkers. It's that the MTPs positively impact 1 billion people, and that's what got me connected. Then you have GitHub social coding, and GitHub was acquired for an impressive amount.
7.5 billion, I think it was.
Yeah, GitHub was it was impressive. GitHub acquisition. I don't have the exact amount, but it was more than 10 billion. Oh, it was 7.5 billion in 2018.
Yep.
So
I think they had 2 founders or something, didn't they? And 1 employee or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, because GitHub actually at the time, GitHub we already knew that it had one of the highest score as an exponential organization. So the EXQ, the exponential quotient score, was the highest. So we were not surprised by this, but it surprised many people. So TEDx, ideas worth spreading.
Yep.
It's just 3 keywords.
Extremely succinct, isn't it?
Yeah. So doing or like food with integrity, music for everyone. Once you have a real MTP that is like that, it's super powerful, and it's not a marketing slogan. So what it is, it describes the world. It's highly aspirational, unique, transformative. It's about the passion, the purpose. It's not just, when you have the vision, mission of an organization. I've been in several public and private organizations, and I don't remember what's the exact wording of what's the vision of the organization, what's the mission. It's usually too long. It's people, if you ask, just take 10 people in the organization and ask them, do you know can you write down what's the vision or the mission of the organization? So everyone in the organization and beyond should know about the MTP. This is how powerful it is, because it brings people together. So it creates the culture, the organization's culture, and it also attracts talents. So if you have a very strong MTP, if you're a non-profit, whatever, if you're making profit, non-profit, if you have a strong MTP, you will attract people who want to work with you, not for the amount of money you will pay them, but the first thing will be because they believe in the cause, in the purpose. And it's not a marketing slogan for customers. It's not just about the customers or about the organization itself. It's about the business. It goes far beyond. Like, for example, Google organized the world's information. It's really, it sounds super generic, but if you think about even like Google Photos, how powerful it is to search, to organize, like to find things. So they put the emphasis on that. Like Google Maps, all the tools, it's all about putting structure, organizing things.
Yep.
And then
it makes it a lot easier to make decisions then too, doesn't it? Like that's the thing that always sticks out to me. Anyone that goes, what direction should we be heading in with the organization at the moment? What should we be working on? What should we be doing? When you got know what that NTP is, you can gauge that against that to make your decisions, can't you?
Exactly, and that's what Singularity University did. They went beyond. So just adding that on the paper, they created a benefit corporation, a B Corp, and you can have you have now some structures. I think all around the world, you can look at how to create a B Corp, a benefit corporation. So it's you will have your MTP in your bylaws, and it prevents you for making, for example, if you have an MTP that you want to do good on the planet and you don't want to harm the planet, so you're not going to make an investment in as like a fund. You're not going to invest in oil, for example, that can do damage, or things that might damage the earth. So it's really about not only having it on paper, but living it. And once you have tough decisions to make, you will go back to your purpose. You will go back to that. And so if you have to say no, it will be easier with your MTP because you have a direction. That's why I say North Star. It gives you the direction. And then sometimes some organizations deviate from this direction. So this helps you keep the main direction. Because then the things you put here, it's not something you will achieve in 2 or 3 years. It's something maybe after 10 years you have to revise. Like for Singularity University, I'm sure they have already impacted not directly 1 billion people that they trained, but they trained thousands of people who themselves had an impact with also thousands of people. So with this effect, I'm sure that they already reached the MTP of impacting positively 1 billion people in the positive mindset and how to leverage exponential technologies.
Yeah.
So it's, then you have to revise your MTP after 10 years, maybe, or 15 years.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a living, breathing thing. Yeah, because I'm the same as you. You probably the same. Come across EXO via Peter Diamandis, something Peter Bold or something like that. You know, I tell everyone I know about those things, and you tell everyone as well. So that reach just keeps multiplying. That they tell people and they tell people. So yeah, it's extremely important to get this MTP right. If you really want to get reach and you really want to make an impact, you really want to change things, this spend time on it as long as it takes, I believe anyway.
Yeah, this is a must. It's non-negotiable. Like you need to have an MTP, and I would advise anyone who is interested by these concepts to start thinking about their own MTP. I think it's more important than any than ever. So if I look at of course you have to pay the bills. So sometimes you have some really cool ideas, something you want to do the whole day, but you cannot do it the whole day because you have to pay the bills and you have to be reasonable and do other activities that are not linked directly to your MTP. And that's fine. But I think that as soon as you get a chance to fully live your MTP, to say, okay, I have now the luxury of focusing 100% on this project, and it's also like taking risks. But once you can go all in your MTP, I think it makes things much easier, especially now with all the questions that people individually ask themselves, like what's the purpose of life and why with all the lockdowns. And now we are in lockdown until mid-January here in Luxembourg. And the government, they're just trying their best with the information they get and helping also organizations, companies with the subsidies, with the financial support. But yeah, now is a time, I think, especially now, end of the year, is already a time where people ask themselves questions. But with the whole year, year of 2020, which was very special, I think more than ever, people need to think, to pause and think about what is their own purpose. What do they want to achieve in life, or simply like what is important for them, not without even talking about specific goals. And once you have your own MTP, you can think about the organization you work for. Do they have a clear MTP, and are your principles, your values linked? Are there? Is it a match with your organization's purpose and values? These kinds of questions I think are important. Not just, okay, you need of course to pay the bills, but there is more than that. And I think this is something really important. And for a region, taking a few people with a good diversity in a region, like you can take young people, people with more experience, people from the public, from the private sector, like really a good diversity, and start brainstorming about what this massive transformative purpose, this North Star could be for your region. I think this is a great exercise. So yeah, there are different templates that, so why does the region exist? So what's the opportunity? What are the product services that the region deliver? There are also many documents that you can find that are available on the European Commission's website, on the government's website, explaining smart specialization. So because they did this exercise, for example, in Europe, they looked at, they asked each region, okay, what is your, they wanted to have this this view of like, so that we do not all replicate the same thing. So we can focus, specialize in certain areas. And then you have this map of all these specializations, and you can you can have maybe some redundancy sometimes, but then you don't. Not everyone does the same thing, so you can specialize. So, for example, Luxembourg has specialized in space, in the space sector now in the past years, and in fintech, financial technology.
Yep.
So those are two new areas. I mean, they were around. Finance was already there and space was already there, but now it's a big push, and there are many others, but those are two that are really unique for Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And yeah, this gives you all hints about this why, how, what exercise about the region, and then you can put like post-its. You have different tools, so you can do that online. You put the post-its. The best is to have a collaborative tool where people can directly move the things around. So you don't have one person doing all the work, but everyone contributes. So it shows commitment and interaction. And yeah, we're talking here about the better future for the world. It doesn't explain how. When Elon Musk said we will do that, he doesn't know how. He just pushes in one direction and it happens. So that's the kind of mindset you need to be bold. And
although you touched on a really important point just back there is not doubling up and using the abundance that is around. And look, if you look at what we're doing here tonight, even go out if you want to do something, or if you're watching this, you want to do something. Go out and find someone that's got an NTP that resonates with you and touch base. And look, Younis is sitting in Luxembourg on the other side of the country in lockdown. I'm in Australia on the Sunshine Coast, and there's no reason why we're collaborating, working together here already, and to make sure that we're not doubling up. He's doing stuff, I'm doing stuff, and we're looking at going, oh, he's doing that and he's doing that. I think that from a future ready perspective for everyone, number one, your MTP. Would you agree, mate? The second one is go out there and see who else is doing something in your space.
Yeah, I think
sorry.
I think it's very important to connect with people who are in the same mindset and who want to be in the action.
Yeah. Because you've actually got something you're working on at the minute already, haven't you? You're building a community that your future ready citizen, is that correct? futurereadycitizen.org.
Yes, that's the overall platform that I want to launch, and I wanted to have it ready for our discussion today. If people are interested to join the Mighty Network, that is on futurereadycitizen.org indeed. And there is a link to join the community, and I will start. I will look for someone who can support me for the digital platform. Who can? We need moderation. We need to start like structuring to have different groups. So I have a pretty good vision of how it should look like afterwards, because with Singularity University we have. They use Mighty Network, and they have a community of I think 150 or more chapters at the city level all around the world. And so you have one channel for each chapter where people can interact, like really connect with the community, and then you have access to the overall community. So you can each one has like you just put your MTP, you put just some keywords about what you do in your day-to-day job, and that helps filtering. And you can just find with geolocation or just with keywords, you can connect with people. And so that's why I wanted to center that around the citizen. The government transformation is one thing, but here my focus is really on the citizens. And the citizen can be, I mean, you're a citizen of the commune, of a region, of a country, and then sometimes also you have different interests. Like you have, in my case, I'm French with German and Lebanese blood, and I live in Luxembourg. So you can have this mix, which is more and more common. That you don't live in the country you were born, or so you can have different interests. So this is why you can be like, for example, you can be in different groups. So I would be active in the group like for Luxembourg, for Lebanon, and also maybe for France. And like everyone is welcome to join this community. So I can just, because I think on the MTP. Yeah, on the MTP, I think we are good. I will just share this screen right now. So here, it's a very lean website that will evolve. At the moment, I really like this quote from Margaret Mead.
Yeah, it's the mark, doesn't it?
Yeah, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And that's why I really believe in this quote. I think that we should start by building these communities of, we call it change makers or whatever you want to call it, people who want to take action, not just to act as a victim of saying we cannot do anything, we cannot change anything, the government is making decision, or the big companies or whoever. No, we can take control. But for that, we need some structure, we need some framework, we need to be taken seriously. And I think the critical mass, if we have a critical mass of communities all around the world that speak the same language, that want to go in the same direction, a positive, better future for all, I think this has a tremendous potential, really an important impact. So we have, I've put here some of the, so this is the, sorry, I don't know why it's cut here. So this is the MTP here, the North Star. I talked about the different attributes and what I believe we really need if we want to create at the national level, to create traction. We need digital infrastructure like they did in Estonia and many other countries. And in Luxembourg now, they are also creating so they're doing some experiments with public services, with challenges where people can participate in competitions, and then it will become a new government app. So I've put the TEDx also here. I've put Salim's TEDx, How to Fix Civilization. And also I had a recent chat with Jonathan Reichenthal, who is the author of Smart Cities for Dummies, which is a bestseller. Jonathan has really a good traction with his book. And so yeah, that's the website for now that will evolve. What is the most important is this: join our community if you want to be part of either as a citizen, as a government representative, gov transformation expert, or technological solution provider. Really, the aim is to create a marketplace. But I will start first with connecting with citizens, and then we'll evolve from there. But the first thing is to connect with citizens so that they start exchanging what do they need, what do they want, and then we can build from there. So I don't want to come with already all the structure and everything. So once you go here, you will end up on this mighty network, and we will be able to create, we'll have all the members here. For now, it's just the two of us. And because I haven't advertised it yet. And we'll have all kinds of topics. So I've just created one for now, which is Luxembourg, to have the discussions going here. So that's the platform that I want to use, which is very interactive. And we can start using it. I was thinking during the winter break, and attracting people on the platform and creating these clusters, these groups by geographic area, I think.
Yep, cool. So you speak of, I've heard you mention this a couple of times, and I really love this idea, and that's a super citizen. And because I know when we spoke last time, one of the things that you said to me, you said the abundance, even though your TED talk was on the government, you said the abundance is on the citizen side. Talk to that a little bit, mate. Tell us about the super citizen and the formula that you believe, like the Airbnb superhost type formula. How do you see that working? Because I love the idea of this.
Yeah, so the first time I heard about the concept of super citizen, it was actually Salim Ismail who mentioned that. He was talking about creating these local communities with exponential thinkers, people who see the trends that are coming, and that we can connect to each other. So it got me thinking, because when I was last time in London, I was hosted by a super host, and he was saying he was super proud, for example, to be on the bus station poster. Because he was selected, you know, they have this, they among the super hosts, Airbnb super hosts, some of them are selected to be like for PR, and so they really like are advertised. So his face was of my host in London was all around London in the bus station. So he was super excited about that, and I was like, okay, so this is cool, because they are obviously passionate. They are doing more than the average host, and this is like in the end like a badge that you get, a recognition, and it goes beyond that, because then, I mean, he was at least he was happy to have his face all around, and he could have declined it if he didn't want to. And I think this is the kind of recognition that you can have for a super citizen who is super engaged for the community, the local community. And in the TEDx, I speak about the recognition with, it could be like a token that you can use if you're very active, and there is a way to measure your activity with, for example, a gamification platform that could be co-designed with there are many companies specialized in gamification platforms, but I think it should be a discussion with the government, because that's the ideal way, so that they can also take advantage of that. And so super citizens are not politicians, but they can influence decisions from politicians based on the discussions, the real live discussions they are having in with the moms, the supermarket, with the kids, with the business people, and so people who really understand the community. And I think then you can reward those people in different ways, and this needs also to be a discussion. What it could be like miles to travel. Whenever it's possible to travel, you get miles, and you can go to a nice hotel. So you are rewarded in a way. It doesn't have to be cash. It can be like it can stay in the ecosystem of the local community, where, for example, you can have sponsors with hotel chains, with the airline, and you can be rewarded with just things which you don't have to get cash out of the system, but it's you reward people with what you have, with the services you already have. Cinema, restaurant, all that.
And the next evolution of that, I suppose, is because when you start looking at cryptos and blockchain and all this sort of stuff, how far off are we from a local player? You would probably hear the same thing there that I hear in Gladstone's always been for a long time, is trying to get people to spend locally. Down here on the Sunshine Coast where I am as well, the business is always talking about how do we get more people to buy locally, spend their money with a small local business. The way I see it coming is the digital currency. Having your own, like the EXO, you have an EXO currency inside the EXO community. How far? I mean, the technology is nearly there, isn't it? A community could basically run their own economy and their own digital currency, could they not?
Yeah, we have. There is one arm of EXO, is a Fast Track Institute, and they have already come up with projects also where we actually have one company in charge, like really implementing the blockchain-based, so new digital currencies that can be used by cities. So that is already available, plug and play. And you can also connect this currency with Exos, which is the digital which is a token that was created by the EXO for OpenEXO. The motivation was that when you want to pay, imagine you have 10 people from 10 different countries that work on the same project on the fly. So I was mentioning stuff on demand, and you have to pay one in dollar, one in euro, one in dinar. I mean, all these currencies. It creates so much friction and so much overhead that it's sometimes for small amounts, sometimes larger, but it's time, and it's also like lots of fees with the banks. And sometimes it's not possible to do the transfer from that country to that other country. So with Exos, you have a seamless, frictionless means of payment between people from the community. And then you can convert it, once it's going to go public, you can convert it to a fiat currency, to dollar, euro, whatever you want. So this will be the next step. But to have really a currency, so blockchain based in our network. So this is already up and running. We have Exos. You can already use your Exos to join the events. So we accept already Exos. And so yeah, that's one thing in our community. And we have also other digital currencies that are, and we've had a few projects at the city level which are implementing these blockchain-based solutions and the reward system and for more engagement. So we have a benchmark with a few local transformations.
In the TED talk, you talk about Estonia. Now they did something fairly unique with their Wi-Fi. Tell us about that. What they actually made Wi-Fi, and why you said they're pretty well advanced. Yeah, that they're a model that we should all be looking to.
Yeah, with Estonia, I went recently to Estonia. I was in Tallinn for 1 week, and it's the way they did is they leapfrogged directly to digital. So, but that was before the mobile even. So they started in Estonia. They understood that digital was the future, and so they leapfrogged directly from the old system, being part of the Soviet Union, and to directly like having this e-services mindset, so where everything is digitized for the citizens, for businesses, and that was a quite long and costly process because it was before the mobile. Now today with the mobile, it's even faster to do such transformation. So if you have you need, of course, if you want to do it in a proper way, you need the support of the government. And it should be a public-private partnership. So with a company that has already done it successfully, and they work together, and you have you need a business model for companies that want to transfer to go fully digital and be able to do all the all the tax declarations, all the administrative things have to be done online so that it's more efficient. And this way you can monetize services with businesses and cover with this revenue cover the costs of the citizens' services, which are free, of course, because you're offering that as a service to your citizens. So it should be a public-private partnership. And with the mobile, it's much, much faster and cheaper to do it today. So you can do it, for example, we're now trying to see how we can do that in Lebanon. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the projects and which I mentioned in the TEDx, that I wanted also to be focused and start on with one country. And it doesn't even have to be with the government at the beginning. It has to be with the community, with the citizens and the diaspora, because that's what is important to understand what are their needs. And because trust with the government is very important. And if you don't have the trust with the government, there is no point to start discussing with the government with such an initiative. It's important to first clarify what do you want to do, where do we want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, and start working in this direction, and then see if we can bridge that with the government. So in some cases, it's better to start. So in any case, it's better to start with the citizens, and then very soon, or maybe it will take more time, you connect with the government. But for such an initiative, if you want a digital infrastructure, it's important to have interaction with the government services.
Yeah. No, they actually made Wi-Fi basic human right. Is that correct? That they
Yes.
considered it that important?
Internet access, yeah. So that's something I learned recently, and I was amazed by that, because if you think about now, all the people who will join internet in the coming years, it's huge. Like we will double the number of people on the web, and there are like at least 3 initiatives in parallel for democratizing internet access, and with super fast bandwidth.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But part of all of this is it's all about band length, better. What they call it, faster, 10x faster, better. They say cheaper. I prefer cost effective. Mauritius, you've got a case study there of something that Mauritius did. You were just showing me before. Do you want to throw that up and talk us through that a little bit, and just shows you how much benefit it is to working from this mindset rather than, like you said, a good visual is when it talks about linear versus exponential. Salam talks about this. He said that if you think linear, so if I take 30 steps from where I am now, I'm 30 meters away. But if I take 30 exponential, which is 30 Dublin steps, it's something like 27 times around the planet or something like that. So
yeah, it's like 27 times around the Earth.
Yeah. So it's really that Younis mentioned the Gutenberg moment before, and again, this come back to a lot of Salam's talks, is Gutenberg moment. You saw how much that pushed that exponential curve up. We've got about 18 or 20 Gutenberg moments happening at the moment, haven't we? With technology, your blockchains, your artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, all these separate things. The world, if everyone thinks the world's moving quickly now, it's nothing compared to what you're going to see over the next 10 years. And I just really hope, if people don't take anything away from this, number one, the MTP, the second thing is to start getting, and Salam talks about this, he said you need to become your own futurist. You need to be able to start seeing these doubling patterns when the technology starts doubling and how it starts moving quicker, and then get in front of it, or at least, be building something that's going to keep up with it. Anyway, yeah, talk us through this, mate. What Mauritius did.
Yeah, so that was a discussion OpenExo had with people from Mauritius, and there is also history that they were already at the government. They were familiar with the EXO approach, so they wanted to be able to record all the damage that was done with the oil spills by putting it on the blockchain. So all the pictures, all the documentation, you can store it on the blockchain. And here you can see that that they're building a case here to make it completely transparent and avoid all this avoid the large companies, all companies, just to get away with it. So this was put up in a few weeks, and it was a collaboration between OpenExo and the government, and they built this platform. So it's not a PowerPoint presentation, it's an actual working platform that they put up in a few weeks, because all the technological bricks were there. And they use satellite images, and so they can really record everything and have people on site take pictures. And so they really document everything, and they store it in a way that is not hackable, that is not so that this is a great project showing how you can, here they want to preserve and protect the oceans using exponential technologies, and they did it in just a few weeks, and this can be replicated now by any other location in the world that wants to use this infrastructure. And so that was done with the Fast Track Institute, which is this non-profit body of EXO, where Salim is involved.
And that's when they're talking about exponential, like 10 times quicker, better, faster. That's, if you look at the old model for trying to do that, and they've leveraged probably quite a number of the exponential, what do you call it, capabilities in there. They've leveraged the crowd, the technology is probably the way they communicated. Yeah.
Yeah, here they use blockchain and satellite images. And so I mentioned before, so here Fluid Chains is one of the EXO partners, and they're actually specialized in blockchain and tokens. So that's the company that is behind that, and they have all the tools to do that very quickly. And so I had already some discussions with Cesar about the local currency when we were talking about having those local currencies that would be interoperable with Exos. And yeah, I know Kent and Michelle as well. So yeah, this is a very very interesting company where Salim is one of the advisors, and they're really building plug and play solutions, blockchain based solutions for applications that can be deployed very quickly, as you saw here. This big issue of oceans being irreversibly damaged by all companies, all spills.
Yep.
And which are now they have to be accountable for their acts now, because everything now is being measured. So putting these kinds of projects at scale would have a very high positive impact on protecting oceans.
Yeah, and you think back to probably not even that long, even a couple of years ago, Matt, someone tried to do something like that. Could take years to try to pull something to that together, and that was pulled together. What did you say before? In a matter of weeks, they pulled.
Yeah, in a matter of weeks, as I understood, it was because the people were already convinced, and then the tools were there. So it was about putting everything together, putting a team and developing that. So I hope that these kinds of projects can be for other purposes as well. This was now for the oceans, and you have many things happening now with the protection of also like removing plastics, microplastics from the oceans. You have one of the EU missions now is on oceans, saving the oceans, preserving the oceans. So this is a huge topic. So then once you do something like that, you can connect with also other initiatives, and it can create this network effects.
I've pretty much grilled you tonight. What haven't I asked you that I should have asked you about that we haven't? Is there anything that we haven't really covered that you go, man, we should have covered that? That part's really important.
I mean, I have this. I wanted to share this. Those are not real MTPs, but it's just some ideas, just to start a discussion. So Luxembourg, I mentioned, has specialized in the past years on space resources, so on space mining, and so safely bringing space resources to Earth. Now, I was starting to think that actually the same way that Elon Musk is providing a backup plan, like when we talk about redundancy, when you have like storage and we have redundancy, I was thinking that actually Luxembourg is, if we cannot manage with the raw material that we have on Earth today with circular economy, if circular economy fails, Luxembourg is basically providing a backup plan for Europe with the raw material from Earth, from space. So I was just starting to think about that in when we had this event with also the Dutch colleagues, and they were thinking also in terms of circular society. So we were drafting also an MTP for the Netherlands. And we're thinking of having for Benelux, like trying to find some synergies with Benelux. So that was just some thoughts about space and what you do it, how do you link it to the initiatives that are happening today. So it's basically providing a backup plan for Europe. Costa Rica, I was amazed when I've been 2 times in Costa Rica by how green the country is. Not only literally green with the forest and everything, but also with the approach of they are very, very advanced. They have one blue zone where you live longer, and they have all this this vibe that is difficult to describe, but it's really they're putting lots of emphasis on the ecology, and they're very advanced on that with very very ambitious goals to be. So they're really ahead in Central America on ecology and the environment. And yeah, Finland always always scores at the top of the World Happiness Report if you look at the scores. So they managed to be always at the first or at the top. Canada, I've lived in Canada 1 year, and I know I have many friends who live in Canada, and when I read about smart societies, and I mean, Canada is always highly ranked on not only on innovation but on being really an open country. And I think that those are just some starting points for discussion. I'd be interested in these groups on the futurereadycitizen.org platform. I'd be really interested in starting this discussion on so what could be the MTP for each region, each country.
Yeah,
and this
cool place to start.
Place to start can be at the city level. If people identify more at the city level, it can be at the regional level or at the country level. In Luxembourg, I think it's too small to make it to make subdivisions.
Yeah. So, where do people reach out to you, mate, to find out more about what you're doing and to get started themselves?
I think the best, if we want to get things going, the best is to I don't know if you will put it in the chat somewhere. I can go back to sharing the screen.
Yep.
The futurereadycitizen.org website. Yep. I think that's the next steps should be to start creating the community here. So I will now advertise this platform in Luxembourg and so in Benelux actually, with the people from OpenExo and also Singularity University. I think you can create a community for Gladstone. So because we talked about it's going to be at the city, region, or country level, I will do it at the national level here. We have already an initiative going for Lebanon that I can show you here. So we have drafted a manifesto.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we want to transform Lebanon from a country in need to the most welcoming and thriving country on earth. This here is Zaytuna Bay next to the port, and you can see on the top left, this is a futuristic design done by my cousin in Lebanon. And so we have already drafted an action plan. We will define objectives and key results, which is more agile than KPIs.
Yep.
And we have different. So what we really want is to give back the hope, to mobilize the global Lebanese diaspora, but not only Lebanese people who love the culture, because I know I have many friends in France and all around the world who love the Lebanese cuisine. So just this connection with the Lebanese culture via the cuisine, I think, can be a way to connect. And we want to really rebuild trust between people among them, with the government, and to help with the international community to rebuild, so revive hope and rebuild trust. And so we will we have brainstormed with a small group, and we came we validated some of the hypotheses, which is part of this process. Or you make hypotheses, you validate, and then you iterate like that. So one of the solutions we think will help Lebanon is to develop a Lebanese startup nation, to have solutions made in Lebanon. So it will create wealth, it will create jobs, it will create also pride to have made in Lebanon solutions. So for this, you need different things. You need to fuel with funding. You need to fuel with talent, with some coaching. So these are different things where we can help with the international community, basically. Also, so we'll build a private-public partnership platform to fund these projects. It's important that you have a proper governance. Having the right governance for such projects and transparency is very important. Where does the money go? What are the criteria of selection? Things like that. It has to be transparent and fair. Also, we talked about having an open data portal, the same way Europe pushed for each country, each member state to have a national open data portal, so that you can create those. This is just an enabler for new services. Also, we focus on water, food, energy, which go together. And this will be done by selecting like some concrete projects. It could be vertical farming. So the idea is that we will make sure that people in Lebanon have enough food, enough resources, and so this is like augmenting the supply.
Yep.
The hospitality sector. So if we want if we go back to the MTP, which is becoming the most welcoming and thriving country on earth, you need to have a very strong hospitality sector. So that's where the link between here, the water, food, energy, and food and beverage sector is. And yes, again, we will help the startups and SMEs also access for export. So once you have the made in Lebanon with the startups, you have existing SMEs, which you can help exporting. And we have also, so here we have a separate Mighty network for that, and also a manifesto that we published on Avaz. Yeah, so that's one of the things. So we have a dedicated platform, so similar to this one, which is this one. In this platform, we want to really create an overall community, a global community of future-ready citizens all around the world, with subgroups where you can go in different. For example, you can go in different groups, Adam, if you want. If you have different centers of interest. Now, it doesn't have to be just the country where you live, but you can also be interested in contributing. If there is the same place you go on vacation all the time and you want to contribute, this can be also interesting to give your inputs there, as with a different perspective than people who live there, but as a tourist, for example.
Yeah. Okay. That feedback's really important. And a lot you said about startup communities as well. That's part of, actually, that's how I got started with the Gladstone, the project that I'm doing. It's a startup through a startup program up in Gladstone. So that falls under that, would it not? That'd fall under your experimentation, literally your startups, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean the EXO is all about experimenting, and here I have no guarantee that this platform will work. I'm just providing a platform, an enabler, so that for people to connect, and I don't think that I don't think that doing WhatsApp group would work, because there are too many of we have already too many WhatsApp groups, and you're limited. Once you reach 100 people, it becomes difficult to. Also, you don't capitalize on the knowledge, and you cannot have subgroups. So that's why I prefer to create this Mighty network, which has the structure to support the growth, and you have also the app. Is very nice. Once you install the app, you can also have all the notifications, decide, and when you have time, especially now, I was thinking during the winter break that it's a perfect timing for people to pause and think, okay, where do they want to put their time? Of course, you have the time with the family, with your kids, with partner, with the time for work. But now during the winter break, also if you find time for yourself, independently of all the surroundings, what do you want to do, and where do you want to put your time and energy? And so that's definitely during the winter break. It's definitely one of the things that I'll be also talking with my friends and family and challenging them. And instead of complaining about things that do not work as you want, okay, so let's try to do something about it, and not just as one person, like David and Goliath. That's the problem, that when you try when you try these big challenges, when you want to change something with an administration, it's a lot of work for one person. But if you come as a community, you're taken more seriously.
Yeah. 100%.
So once we have enough European cities, we can have a discussion with the European Parliament. But only once we have reached a critical mass. There is no point to start the discussions now and trying to have all these strategic partnerships. Let's see first if there is an interest, if people are willing to give their time, because that's what you would be giving, your time, learning a new platform, interacting with people. And if you get enough out of it, and you want to bring also other people on this platform, and start the discussion, and then we build from there. So it's really flexible, and I'll be creating a few communities, as I started with Lebanon and with Luxembourg, and so with Benelux. So I'll be focusing on those, Benelux and Lebanon for now. And I'm sure I will also get interest in the community from my French friends, and being French myself, and I can also give some inputs. And that's how things start, just bottom up, and we'll need some ambassadors for each community, each location, to get the pace, to get things going. And that's really the plan, to start just during the winter break now.
Awesome, mate. Love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, mate. Unless you've got anything else to add, I'll kill a live stream. We'll still be on Zoom, but once again, thank you very much for your time, taking time out. I know it's close to Christmas, everyone's busy, so yeah, mate, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing what we do with it next year.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity of putting those ideas together, because it's a good follow-up, I think, of the TEDx talk. And let's keep in touch, and now we can build something together on the platform and start interacting there.
Awesome. All right, I'll kill